talking about comics.
Hello, everyone. You're in for a treat today because we're giggly and we're having a lot of fun. And then we realized maybe we should share the fun and include the rest of you as well. So, what got us all giggling is just stories of being of your authentic self. Like, so many times we spend life trying to be somebody we're not, or hanging out with people or being in crowds who we personally are not. Like, round peg, square hole, it's not a fit, right? And it takes some time to realize, like, I'm cool for who I am. I don't need validation from somebody else. I just need to go find the people who are my people, and we do have sayings about that in our society. I found my person. I found my
Yeah.
people. I found my place. Like we hear that on and off, right? But then do we do something about it? Like that's the thing, right? And so we were talking about children, and I was actually being interviewed by a student who was talking about like some programs for her, which made me kind of think about this today. So that's our whole discussion. So I'm going to throw it out there. And Jenni, you have such a succinct way of saying about the authentic space, but it kind of revolved around your son, is kind of where we started, right?
Well, actually, we started with the fact that David used to donate plasma to pay for his comic books when he
Yeah,
was
when
in
I was an
college.
undergrad. Yeah. I was a plasma toot. Yeah, got both arms. Get them going.
Plasma too.
$25 a week.
It just is so surprising to me that that is what you were using your plasma
Yeah,
donation money
most
for.
students would use it for beer
Yeah,
or meals, but no, it was
ink,
getting those
comics.
comic books, right? That was the little escape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
100%. And I
I
was the
still
same
got them.
way.
Most of them are in Mylar and
Yeah.
storage,
Nice.
and yeah. Of course,
So,
my brothers and I also did it. And mom put up all of our comic book boxes. They're in cardboard boxes in
mhm.
storage, and put them all lumped in together. And so now my brothers are like, "No, that's mine. No, I collected that. That's an original Teenage Mutant. That's my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not yours." But
You guys better get that figured out before one of you dies because that could
Oh
turn
my
into
God.
like a
the
serious
thing.
issue.
But I was
Gonna
not the
rip your
only
family
comic
apart.
book person here, too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Maybe
yeah.
other people, right?
Yeah. And that's what, so we started talking about this, and I was talking. So my son just turned 16, and he was talking about the fact that girls seem to be a lot of trouble. And I'm like, some of them are. I'm not going to lie. Some of them love the drama and all that. I said, but then
Yeah.
you don't hang out with those people. You hang out with the people who are like you. And I said, when I was also in college and I started dating Simon, and before one of the boyfriends before him would give me a rose every week that we were together, like one rose for one week, two roses for 2 weeks, three. I mean, it was stupid. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what a waste. It's such a waste of money. And so I really was unimpressed that poor poor kid, but I was really like, really, this is what you're going to do? But then I started dating Simon, and he understood me to the point that he was a resident assistant. So at that time you had the keys to, like, we would lock ourselves out at 3 o'clock in the morning when we came home inebriated, and you'd go to your RA and they'd open up your door. And so I would come back from class and I would find a Lunchables, because I love food, and two comic books on my bed from Simon. And I'm like, I love this man. And so I was trying to explain to
He
Lucian,
got who you are.
he did, and he still does. I mean, we've been together for 30 years now, and we love comic books together, and we go, we love science fiction, and we love, going on trips and zip lining and hiking. Like, we're going to hike Half Dome later this year, doing like these stupid things, but we love it. And that's what we love to do together. And so I told Lucian, I said, honey, you just find those people, he's into Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, there are girls who are into Dungeons and Dragons, which he knows because he has some in the group that he's in. But I'm like, those are your people. Like, you don't try and fit with some girl who's full of drama unless that's what you're into. But there are people out there who aren't like that. And so you find those people, like, us. We found each other. And, Beth and I have this thing about inflatable costumes
Yes.
for work. purposes. And, so it's like
It's so important to
I'm glad you
clarify.
qualified for work purpose.
sounds weird. Like, how many people be like, yep, I've got an inflatable poop costume. Oh my God, so do I. It's like, but you find these people that get you, and to your point, Kelly, when you said, what are you doing about it? So many people stay stuck
Yes.
in relationships, in
Mhm.
jobs with these people who they think this is who society tells me I should be with, or where I should be, or
When
what I
you
should be
can't be your
doing.
authentic self because
Yeah,
it's
Right.
not honored or appreciated.
right,
Right.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's a choice that you make to stay. And it can be a choice that you make to leave. And like I said, Beth really wanted a vet practice that embraced the occasional inflatable costume,
How weird I am.
or May the 4th be
That
with
was
you.
brilliant.
That,
Yeah.
she has all these social media posts. And so Beth couldn't find that, so she just built it, right?
That's
That was
right.
your goal. Was that
The
your
I
whole
goal? Was that in
reason
your
to start a
business plan?
practice.
Right.
Yes, from the very beginning. I wrote it into
The
the bylaws.
the executive summary of the business plan.
Must
Beth is allowed to be as weird as she wants, and no one will shut her down.
and we just accept it and
And
we
we
love
just
her and we
accept the weirdness. Now, I find one of the things in life that makes me actually really sad for people is when you can see that they are deeply unhappy and they are in a
Yeah.
situation in which they can't be themselves or they choose not to be themselves and they stay. And I can't, I have such a hard time understanding that. Like, not to make it too deep because this is sort of a light, happy topic, but like, honestly, I even feel that way about like my team members that are like unhappy working for me or like friends and family that are in unhappy marriages. I'm like, what are you doing?
You
Like, you
know,
have one life, just one, as far as we know. And so you should be chasing after your wildest dreams and being able to be your authentic self with the people who are closest to you. And so many people don't do that. And I think this is actually why people have like midlife crises
Mhm.
because
Well, yeah.
they've suppressed who they are until they get to the point where they just like can't do it anymore and then they freak out and they buy a car and they drive across the country or they leave their spouse or they quit their job or whatever because they have not been themselves until that moment. It's
So
sad.
I start asking people now. I don't know, maybe I got to a point in life where I just don't give a shit. But I I was
nothing there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I was renting a car locally a couple of weekends ago, and I was asking, well, when does this have to be back? Or are you closed all day on Sunday and I can just drop the keys in a drop box and go my merry way? I mean, it's a small little rental place in a small town near me. He's like, oh no, we work until noon now on Sundays and we work 50 to 60-hour weeks. So we're going to take our half day. And I just looked point blank at him and I said, why are you still here if you don't like it so much? And he was on his back. He goes, one, I can't get paid somewhere else. He goes, and two, I hate my house. I wasn't expecting this part,
You
but
opened up a can of worms.
I did.
You're
And
like,
I was
no,
like,
really
oh,
tell me.
yeah. And he goes by a 3.9% interest. And where am I going to get that interest rate again? So I just stay here. And I'm like, oh, you have the golden handcuffs. Like you feel like you don't have any choice. But in
Yeah.
reality, he does. He can move someplace else. He can move to a different town where he can get a nicer house, same payment, bigger house, even if the interest rates, like there's choices, right?
Mhm.
But he felt this was his choice.
I think that's part of the issue is that we feel stuck and like victims. And I know that there is an aspect of privilege here. I want to recognize the fact that there is an aspect of privilege here, and there are people who live in this world in situations where they cannot leave. In different parts of the world, obviously, in even parts of the United States. Whether you have, grown up in such a part of us, poverty, in such poverty that you really are trapped because you don't even have the ability to get the education to do these things. You don't know. And it's extremely hard. I want to recognize that it is extremely hard to get yourself out of those
Correct.
situations. So that being said, I think there are a lot of people that have the same privilege that I do. I mean, I see people in town. I have a lady in town that literally she doesn't like me, and we had a bit of a conversation where she told me that she didn't like me or my family and whatever, and that's fine. Wanted to hear what she had to say. And she literally, in the same breath, told me that she doesn't like our town. She wishes she could leave, but she's trapped here. She doesn't like our church. She wishes she could leave, but she feels obligated to be there. And I left our talk feeling horribly sorry for this person because I'm like, I would never stay someplace that I felt obligated that I had to be. Like I wouldn't. And I know that that is that whole, I don't know, I don't want to say victim mentality, but this whole like, oh, woe is me and I'm stuck here. And it's like, but are you? I'm not saying that it would be ideal to move. I'm not saying that it would be ideal to leave your
Right.
husband, to move out of town, to hell, leave your children. There are people who do it though. That is a choice that some people make. I'm not saying it's the right choice, but it is a choice that some people make that they, like you said, midlife crisis, right? Up and leave, they get a whole new family. And it might not be a great choice, but how great would it have been if going back, you had said early on, man, I'm starting to feel trapped. Maybe this isn't right for me. And now it's so much easier, right, to make those changes earlier on instead of being stuck and then say, oh, 30 years later, maybe this doesn't bring me joy. And maybe I should do something about it. But you still can. It might be hard and it might be you might feel guilty, but also we have to be true to ourselves and authentic. And if we're not living that life, what do our kids see? What do our
Yeah.
team members see? If your
Isn't
team
that
members see you dress up in a poop costume, they feel free to be who they are.
They will also put on the poop costume too.
Yeah.
There you go.
so? Did you guys watch the movie Bridges of Madison County? It was older
Yeah.
when I was still watching movies because I don't watch them now, but older Madison of
It was
County.
like late 80s, early 90s,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
Hmm.
it? Yeah, it
about
was a book first. They made it into
Hmm.
a movie, I
Hmm.
think.
it was about a woman who was stuck in her marriage and didn't realize it. And her husband went away on a work trip, and a stranger shows up for whatever reason and fast romance. And there's a scene where they're sitting in a car, and the guy she fell in love with is waiting in the car ahead of her, and she's in the car with her husband, who's like, "What is this guy doing?" And you just show her indecision of leaving. And then at the very end of the movie, the kids are going through her stuff and pulls out this white dress that she goes, "I feel like this was my wedding dress." And it's this note saying, "I shouldn't have stayed with your father. I should have lived my dreams. I should have done all of this." And the girl reading it, her daughter, then picks up the phone and calls her husband and says, "I'm not coming home."
Oh shit.
Oh, wow.
Because she
Oh
said, "I
snap.
need to stay here for a while," because she realized through her mom that it was okay to leave. It was okay to follow her dreams. It was okay to take a pause button and say, "I need to think about this," right? Because she had learned from her mom to stay and endure.
Right.
Hmm. It's interesting, like how much our kids, I mean, this is how our kids learn, right? And I know I had an aunt and uncle who got divorced. And when they did, they were waiting for the kids to get out of high school. And when they did, the kids were like, thank God you should have done this a long time ago. Like you think you're staying to help somebody else, but in reality, your misery is not helping anybody.
Yeah.
And I like, Beth, what you said. We have one life. Live your dream. David's about to like totally live his dream. Like drive around and play friggin' frisbee golf. Like how did you make that happen? You were about to live your dream, David.
Yeah. It you build a list, right? Work towards it, little at a time. It now I just have to make it happen. I got the components. I got my disc golf bag. I got my
Your
van.
van.
I've got my wife who wants to do it with me. Um,
That's a big part there.
check,
I'm
big check.
check wife.
That's at the
Check.
top of the list.
Wife on board.
I like
Check.
that. I like that you listed the frisbee golf bag before your wife.
And the van.
Right. And the van. Right. The frisbee. And I have my comic books.
In order of importance.
Reverse order of importance.
Okay.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
You better
Way
say
to try
that.
and
She
way to try
listens
and
to
say
this.
that.
She's gonna be pissed. She's
Right.
like throwing those frisbee golfs in the trash.
I'm drying the van off.
Yeah.
But
So, what do we do when we're not working? Do we do that? Or
Mhm.
is that what brings you joy? When we were younger, yeah, it was comic books and hiking and biking, and it can change,
Mhm.
over time. I used to play ultimate frisbee and did that and run. My knees don't like that anymore. But are you targeting things that bring you joy? Now, fortunately, I'm very grateful for the fact that my work is very personally rewarding and it does bring me joy when I get to help people and they say thank you and they mean it. That's a warm, happy place. Or I had a valuation results review call yesterday. I practice in Michigan. I valued her practice 3 years ago, and she had been like 8, 9, 10% profitable across those 3 years. And we said, okay, let's focus on this. Valued her yesterday, I'm getting all excited. Added 3 years of data, and she went 12, 14, 17% profitable.
Yeah.
Nice.
And she's like, well, you said
Amazing.
do this, and I did. And I'm like, her
That's
value
amazing.
like tripled.
That's
And
amazing.
because she was paying attention and working intentionally on her practice.
Mhm.
Oh, it was so beautiful to see that trend line across 6 years of data. I was like, oh, wow.
Only you get that excited about a spreadsheet.
But it
Uh,
was a beautiful
It is a
spreadsheet.
beautiful
yeah, I'm
spreadsheet.
sure it
But,
was.
uh,
I'm sure
you
it
know,
was.
helping folks in what my team and I do, it does. It's very rewarding to me. And I see that in my clients when they love their practice and they're creating that culture and things we've talked about and helping their team members and their team members' families, part of the community, working with intent, finding that joy. But are we also finding the joy personally? Outside, finding the people that can get excited about Comic-Con or whatever that passion is, sailing, canoeing, photography, birding. I'm looking forward to getting back into that too. Now, are we intentionally seeking out joy and people with whom to share that with
Mhm.
and count our blessings and be grateful for that if we can find it? Uh,
And I think being honest with yourself about what brings you joy
mm,
too. Like not choosing activities that you think are what you should like or what someone in your community or your situation or your with your degree or what have you should like, but
Influencer.
actually
yeah.
finding what you truly find brings you joy. Because I think we're all relatively lucky, the people in this conversation, that we find joy and purpose in what we do as our careers. And I fully recognize, like what you were saying, Jenni, there are people out there that are stuck in careers that maybe they don't love, that don't bring them joy, but they're a means to an end. So I think in those situations, it's even more important to have joy and purpose outside of work and find things in your life outside of work that are you being your authentic self and recognizing what those things are that bring
Yeah.
you joy and making sure you find time for them because that's the only way to feel fulfilled in life and happy is if you are seeking out the things that you can be authentic with and people you can be authentic with and that truly bring you joy when you do them.
And prioritize that, right? Like you just said,
Mm,
find time. There are 24 hours in a day, right? Time is finite. You said it, Beth. We have one life to live. Like that's it. We don't get however much time we think we want, right? Like we all say, oh, if we only had a couple more hours in the day, you don't. You can't. So we have to prioritize what's important to us. And
Mhm.
so if we're not prioritizing the things that bring us joy, or we're not prioritizing finding the people who bring us joy, or finding the job that brings us joy, or whatever, then we really you are stuck because you're not taking that action to prioritize it. And I think this is a problem that we have, that we are in a society that talks about busy, 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 right? Our busyness. not our business, but our busyness. And it matters, and you're supposed to be. I see parents driving all over creation, because I have one kid here and I have one kid here and I have one kid here and I'm on this and I'm on this, PTO and they are exhausting themselves. And I'm like, I have had to set boundaries for what I do as far as like I have one thing that I do for my town, I have one thing that I'm gonna do for my church, I have a certain, what I do for my business, obviously. And then the rest of that time is doing things that I love, which, like last night we had craft night with my family every Tuesday night. We have craft night. Simon's learning how to crochet. My mom is teaching Simon how to crochet, which is interesting. He's teaching one of my friends or she's teaching one of my friends how to embroider. My daughter sits there and makes these beaded, I don't know, keychains, and I'm working on a diamond painting. But every Tuesday night is like our Monday night is puzzle night. Tuesday night is craft night in our house. We're such dorks, and I love it. My son just turned
man,
16.
It's cool to be a nerd.
Listen, my son turned 16 and he asked for the Botador, this Eye of Sauron Lego set. Like, that's what he wanted. And I'm like, I love that my 16-year-old son asked for that, not like, can I get a new car? Like, no, he wants Legos and Dungeons and Dragons dice. Okay, great. But, I think we have to make time for that, because if you don't, you're going to wear yourself out. And all of a sudden you look back and you're 80 and you go, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, where'd the time go? And just as a side note, full disclosure, I'm a D&D. I used to be. I have a fishing tackle box with all my figurines because I used to paint them, all the little lead
Yes.
figures, and
Nice.
got a big bag full of 4, 6, 8, 12, 20-sided die.
Yeah.
I think I have a 40-sided die.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just got him these LED they're black, and then when you roll them, the numbers glow on the inside. You have to charge them. But I'm like, okay, even I think this is really
That's
cool.
cool.
I tried to get into D&D, but it's not.
So
I
it's
haven't
not my
played
thing.
in decades.
My
but
son is also into D&D,
Nice.
and we host a D&D session pretty much every weekend here at our house.
nice.
They all like coming here because we have a million dogs and they are very entertained by that. But I have
fun.
played a couple of times with Connor. My husband Tom and I have played, and I have a character whose name is Blarf.
Of course it is.
I wanted to share that because I'm very proud of that name.
What are you? A thief, a paladin?
She's a wood elf.
Oh,
Woods
nice.
elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really don't know. Like, are you a cleric? Are you a barbarian? Like,
I was
what are
often
you?
a druid.
I
Yeah.
think they're like a wizard category, right?
Okay, just
Yeah.
We had
nice job on trying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Her name is Blarf.
Blarf. We had an
Blarf the wood
online
elf.
D&D group at Beyond Indigo for a while because we're virtually based. So we'd all get on a Sunday night, had a dungeon master, and we
Nice.
laughed so hard because we all sucked so bad at it. He's like, we're like, yeah, we need the remedial level of playing this because he goes, but I'm like, yeah, so pretend like dummies for Dungeons and Dragons. Like what comes before that is what we needed because we were
The baby.
bad. Yeah, we were so bad at it, but we had so much fun laughing as a team members, a group. It was voluntary, and we'd show up and things like that. But man, we sucked at it. But it was
I like how you just had to say it's voluntary. Nope, you work here. You will be the meeting for
must.
Dungeons and Dragons is
Yes.
every night at
And you
better
must be a
there.
paladin.
Right? We really need that.
Mandatory. And you have to have fun, god damn it.
Yeah,
Right.
mandatory fun.
It is interesting though, because we talk about all of these nerdy things, but there can be other things. There can be like my brother-in-law well, actually right now we have a weight loss challenge going, and a whole bunch of our team members have joined a CrossFit gym. And that's what they do together. I think they're crazy. I have zero desire to go and flip a huge tire around, but that's their joy. And then they come to work and they're like, and if they don't get a workout in, they can go downstairs to our gym that we put in and they can do their workout there and they do it together and or they go for a walk, and I have two team members that go for a walk and pick up trash when they go for a walk at lunch. Like there's other things. It doesn't just
That's
have
cool.
to be comics and Dungeons and Dragons and Legos and Star Wars. Like there are other things. But it's amazing when you find your people in whatever it is. Vet med.
Yeah.
We are all weird in vet med. We shouldn't be left alone at dinner parties. Like we don't talk about appropriate things. And that's cool because we're all like that. So when we're together, we all say totally inappropriate things and it's okay
And
because
then it's normal because
right, that's
That's right.
that's
like,
the
Because you
oh,
found your
conversation,
people.
right.
That's
Found your people.
that's what
What's
brings
the
it common thread through all of
right.
it. But
right?
Right. And we made it a little serious there about, look, leave your spouse if you're not happy. But we're not, that might have been a little too far,
I know.
like
I was like, oh God, everyone's going to listen to this and then write in and be like,
I
I
left.
left my husband of 40 years after listening to your
after,
podcast.
Thank you. And we're like, oh my God, we
Oh
left a
shit. I'm
marriage.
so
But
sorry. We meant like get a hobby you like.
I I remember going to AVMA and I was speaking at AVMA and they come up and talk to you afterwards. And this one guy was talking to me about he was working in a corporate setting and he was just really unhappy. And I looked at him and I said, we'll leave. And he's like, I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, I think you should. All of the things that you're talking about, you have no control over. You have no
yeah,
autonomy on this. So if you're really this miserable when your contract is up, leave. Start your own. I said, there are practices out there that are not in this situation that you're in right now. And he looked at me and he was like, I think I will. And I walked away and I was like, oh my God, I just told that guy to quit his job. Like, oh my God, he's probably got like a pregnant wife at home and now he's walking out and he's going to be like, I had this great teacher or session leader. So maybe you could have conversations first with those that your choices might affect, but it is still taking action. Like, find what you love and find the people who love it with you. And because we're all just a little weird, right? We're all weird. And
yeah,
I
embrace
mean,
it.
yeah, own it. And that's what I told my son because he was like, he goes, Mom, I'm not going to ever find a girl who likes me. And I'm like, dude, you are the last person that I'm worried about in our family. Like, my oldest is so focused on school, and I can say that she never listens to these podcasts. She's like, I don't want to hear your voice on the radio. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm like, thanks, love you too. Okay. But she is so focused on school. I'm like, babe, you have to like put yourself out there. And like we've talked about this, David, right? With the fact that both of our
Yeah,
kids are in school. It's hard to put yourself out there when you're a little bit more introverted. And meanwhile, my youngest, I mean, she is only 12 and she has a strong sense of self, but she also wants to like everybody to like her, which is a different path. My son, he owns who he is. He always has. He had the best mullet when he was in middle school. Like and he's always been this super tall for his age. So he's always been so much bigger than all of his classmates and stuff. So he just owned that. And I'm like, you're the one I'm not worried about because you are so authentic to who you are. And it's beautiful. And someday someone will see that total weirdness in you and be like, yeah, that's for me. So I said, you're not the one that I'm concerned about. So it's like, how do you embrace it? How do you not lie to yourself about who you are? I mean, because a lot of that too can come from family, like what you're told you should and shouldn't be. And how do you feel?
yeah,
How many people stay in the closet for so long because they were told they're going to go to hell? And so how do you overcome those life lessons to say, no, that's who I am. I'm going to be okay. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know because I've been privileged like that my parents allowed me to embrace my weirdness from a
Well,
very young
and
age.
so much of that you can see then in your kids,
Yeah.
Like the fact that your son is like that is because he's watched you growing up and
Mhm.
saw that you're authentic to yourself and that you will love him for who he is. And it is easier when you have a family from the beginning that does that, but you can still find your way even without it. It's just a little bit harder, but you can still find your people, find your nerd group,
Yeah, you might
find
have to
your
undo some
whatever.
life lessons. But
Mhm.
yeah, you're spot on. I'm where I am too. I had this kind of life until I found vet med and then 25 years go by. But yeah, mom and dad supported me. I was every 3 months I was living somewhere else, doing something else after I stopped donating plasma and actually graduated. But they allowed that and they kind of supported that, and that makes a difference, I think.
Were they worried about you while you were trying to find your path? Like, did they go, "Oh my God, he's moving again"? Did they ever
They
talk to you about that after the fact? Like, they were like, "We were really concerned that you were never going to, right? Like, find that one."
yeah, they never said anything. I should ask them about it, but I think I made good decisions, and they saw that there was a method to my madness. I mean, the jobs I took in different parts of the country, the different roles I took, kind of had intent in that moment. It wasn't willy-nilly, and I think, yes, I was not, didn't have health insurance, had no money, but they saw I was pursuing things I was enjoying. And that's what I'd really like for Miles and Grant too, as they study, is to find that, explore the options, but find the one that gives you joy, and a bonus if it helps you make money.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like grabbing the golden ring, right? Something you enjoy doing with people you like being with. Um,
But it can't be about making money. I
Jackpot.
can't count how
No,
many
I'm
people,
with you there.
yeah,
Yeah.
how many people are like, I'll talk to a younger person. I'll be like, "So what are your goals when you get older?" "Oh, I don't care. I just want to make money." I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
Like that can't be your goal. If you find what you love, then figure out a way to make money. But that can't, if that's your goal, like I had somebody be like, "Yeah, I want to be a lawyer because I want to make money." I'm like, "But what type of law?" "Oh, I don't know. I don't care. I just want to make money." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
that's not like making for a happy lawyer." Like that's
Well,
making
being a
for
lawyer is hard, first of
right.
all,
Well, and what
right? I mean,
kind?
that's not an easy, it's a very tedious job, right? So
Right.
you have to
Yeah.
be built for that. And some people just thrive in that, and that's great. But if you
Right.
don't, it's a bad fit. And
Right. I know a lot of lawyers that are divorced and aren't really that happy, but yeah, do they have money? Yeah, they do. But if that's your only goal, like there has to be something else that brings you
I
joy
balance,
hope.
and hope,
balance.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So, right, if
Yeah.
you're then find, I don't know, other lawyers that like to play squash if that's your thing. Is
Or go
squash even a thing?
spelunking.
Ooh, spelunking. I would do
Lawyers who
that.
spelunk.
Spelunking.
Yeah, I've done that. That's fun.
I
That's
would do
I
fun.
that.
want to do that.
It's fun. I've done that. It's a ton of fun. I'm with you,
It
David.
is.
It's
And
Listen,
the darkness, how you turn out all
right.
the lights. It is insane how that
Yeah.
dark, and how quickly you kind of lose. I remember we were crawling through one that's called the birth canal, and you would wedge yourself in. To get through it, you had to exhale and then push.
Oh boy.
That was spooky. I did have one
Mm,
claustrophobic experience where I was
no,
like,
no.
but crazy. I'm sharing too much. But
no, you're not. This is
No, it's
great.
I was
I actually
down
want to do a
there.
whole podcast where he just talks about what jobs he's had.
All the crazy shit he's done, absolutely.
I
And
want a
then
whole
I was living
podcast
in Antarctica.
dedicated to
Yeah,
that.
we
That's what
were,
I
and
want.
this was post-college and one of those adventures, and down crawling through things, and almost getting stuck. And I it was kind of another exhale point to squeeze through. And I thought, what if this mountain goes like that?
Oh God.
And it started weighing on my head, and I felt the anxiety rolling. But then I was like, wait a minute. It's been this way for how many millions of years? And if it chose right now to go, I should be honored.
Then you're dead. Then there's nothing you can do
I was
about
like,
it.
And
it
then you're
chose me
dead.
to squish. And I was like,
Right.
okay, that's kind of cool. And then we were having fun again.
I died when the
Mm.
plates shifted.
He
And
died doing the thing that he loved,
Yeah, right.
spelunking
but it was
through the birth
interesting.
canal.
I I don't. I have
Things,
to say, I would spelunk, but I don't know. I hate bats, and I know every time you go down,
Oh,
there's
you don't see
bats.
them that
you
much.
don't,
Yeah. Or
no.
we
I mean,
didn't.
I would
I mean, you could
listen.
find them. That was a
I'm
long
in.
time ago, though.
I'm in
Young
to
and
try
silly.
anything. We were in Belize and we were going into a Mayan cavern and you had to like jump into this like pool and then swim into this cavern. And there was a point where the water was up to my neck and I had to like lean down so that my neck would fit in between these two rocks. And my sister-in-law was like, this is not fun for me anymore. And I'm like, no, you can do it because now we're in it.
Now
Like
you're
you
in it.
can't
Too late.
one way or another, you have to go this way. But we were
Yeah.
like up to here in water and all that kind of stuff. But it was interesting because I was listening to this person who is so Mount Everest just opened for people to be able to climb it or whatever. And they were talking to this guy who was really excited. They were talking about the weather on Mount Everest and how it can be really tricky and all this kind of stuff. And he said they talked about what was the movie about the group that died? And anyways, and they say that you have to step over the dead body of these people. And he said, first of all, you don't step over the dead bodies. Like if you know where to look, yes, you can see them because they haven't ever brought the bodies down. But he said, honestly, we're all mountaineers. Like this is what we do. We climb. And they died doing what they loved. And that's why their families have said, just leave them there because they loved it. There were opportunities to bring the bodies down, but they chose not to because they loved it. Imagine that kind of joy that if you got squished spelunking and you said, I should be blessed, or I mean, I should be like, what an experience. I got killed when the plate shifted and I died because this mountain moved after millions of years. If you can have that kind of outlook on whatever these crazy ass things are that you do, right? Like, all right, you're gonna, that's
well, and think, David, burial fees would have been taken care of.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going in to get you. You're just like, you're
Yeah,
like
you're
the
there.
Mount Everest people. Like you're there.
And your family goes, well, he died doing what he loved.
Died
So
doing what he loved.
if you can find that kind of joy, I mean, I hope you don't have a heart attack on like
Preferably
a
don't die.
frisbee
Yeah,
golf course.
preferably
Right,
not. Yeah.
right. Let's not. But if you can, you die playing a D&D game, you
Yeah.
die with your horse, your arm up a horse. Like my husband would be thrilled if he died on somebody's farm
Gloved up
someplace.
and
Yep, gloved up with a little bit of manure right here.
Oh,
You'll
boy.
die doing something happy, but that's true joy. That is true joy. So if you can find a I don't know, a job that does that you make money and you can, or a hobby that, or pick safe hobbies.
well, we've certainly gone a little
Right.
all
Yes.
over the place
I
in
was
this
just
section.
thinking,
Some
how do
highs
we
and
Thinking
lows
that,
and
I'm
some
like,
belly laughs.
How do we pull this?
Yeah, how do we wrap
Like,
this up for today?
die on a mountain.
I'm like bats and then bridges.
David's
and
Dave,
comic books.
Right, we talked about movies, we talked about divorcing, we talked about privilege, we talked about dying in a birth canal,
Um,
and
blow
It's
up
inflatable
gratitude.
costumes
blow up
and joy.
costumes for work purposes.
For
Yeah.
work purposes
work.
only.
for work purposes.
See? She has one
Yep.
in her office.
I do. I have two in my office because Beth and I are cut from the same cloth. That's what that is.
Yes. I have a very similar inflatable poop costume.
Yep. Everybody needs one.
I
And
do.
Yeah,
on
I don't
that
know how
note,
I don't know how we
everybody
bring
have
this
a
back in.
great week.
And scene.
Yeah. I think that's good. We think it's awesome. Put in comments. Please like, share, and follow us. Really.
Be
Just hit the little
yourselves.
button. It's not the heart. Just like, and especially the follow button. If you
And
guys
thanks for going on this journey with us today.
More to come because we are our authentic selves and
Yes,
we are
we
not
are.
afraid
We
to
try to
own
be.
it.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
I'm a work in progress.
That's
We're
right.
all work in progress as we find new
Alrighty.
hobbies. Bye.